Hello, my friend. Today I have something kind of different than usual from my channel. In my practice locally, I've been starting to offer workshops that have somatic movement as well as sound and music, or a sound journey as they're often called. And today I wanted to create a sort of wind down or relaxation session with some brief somatic movement to help you relax your mind and body, and then a 10-minute or so sound session to help you drop into that parasympathetic state and just experience some deep rest. So all in all, it'll probably be about a half hour, and it could be great before bedtime, or if you just feel like you really need to decompress, then this could be perfect for any time really when you can take a moment. So just get into something comfy. You can even just get into bed, since we won't be moving around too much for the somatic movement. And yeah, get ready to relax. Okay, so let's find ourselves onto the floor or your bed, on your back. Start to notice how your back feels against the floor or your mattress. Notice how gravity starts to shift your posture already. Notice where your breath is coming from. And let's just take a few nice deep breaths in and out, inhaling through the nose, down to the belly. You can put a hand there if you need feedback. And then exhale through the mouth. Just let the day so far melt away and blow away with your breath. Inhale, deep breath in. Maybe this time sigh a little bit, make a noise. Softening a little bit more with each breath. Another deep breath in. And let it go. Relax your arm to the side if it isn't already. Place your palms face up. And if your feet aren't already on the floor with your knees bent, please go in that position. And just give your chin a little tuck in for a moment towards your chest, and then relax and come back to neutral. Just make sure your head feels like it's fairly neutral, so you're not reaching your chin up or down too much. And let's gently press into the back of the head just a little bit to activate through those muscles in the neck. And then relax and let go. Turn your head slightly to the left, and again, let's do the same thing. Press gently into the side of your head, and then relax completely, let go. Roll over to the other side, press, relax and let go, come back to center. And let's send a deep breath down into the belly again. Feel the muscles expanding through the rib cage, and then coming back together as you release the breath. And then on your next inhale, we'll start to gently arch the spine up and away from the floor, grounding into the tailbone. Just making a bit of space between your spine and the floor, and then slowly let gravity bring you back down as you breathe normally, releasing through those back muscles. And relax completely when you come to neutral. And then take a moment and use your next exhale to go to the opposite direction and press your low back against the floor or your mattress, contracting through the low abs, drawing the navel back towards your spine, hollow out the belly, or at least have that sensation of hollowing out, and then slowly release with control, gradually relaxing through those muscles, allowing your spine to come back to the starting position. And then on your next inhale, we'll start to take that arch again, slowly rolling onto the tailbone, your bum on the floor, little arch through the back. Remember, this isn't a bridge or anything too active. We're just doing a nice gentle little arch through the spine, and then slowly release and relax the muscles to return to neutral. Relax completely in neutral, and then use your next exhale to flatten your back against the floor, lengthening through the low back. Keep your glutes soft. We're just contracting through the low abs, so using those muscles to tip your hips up. We're not squeezing the butt and coming up off the floor at all. We're just gently contracting through the front abdominals. And then slowly let that relax back to neutral. And then we'll do a few more in your own time. So find this movement to flow like the waves in the ocean, up and down gently, using the breath to guide you, exhaling to flatten, inhaling to arch. Just remember to rest for just a beat between the arch and the flatten so that your muscles have a chance to fully relax, so that we can send that signal to the nervous system that this is what relaxed and baseline means for those muscles. Find that flow in your own body. Don't worry about what I look like. Feel it in your body. Notice what other parts of the body might want to get involved or are perhaps active. And also just noticing if any other muscles in the body are starting to release. Everything is interconnected, so when you start to relax through one area, you may notice that something else releases further up or down the body. So make sure to finish up with a flatten as your last movement, and then relax back to neutral. Once you get there, you can glide your heels along the floor and relax and extend the legs. And just let that fully release. Notice how your spine is feeling, your pelvis, your hips. And then we'll slowly bring the feet in again to that knees bent position. And we'll just do a little bit of relaxation through the hips. So we're going to glide the right hip up slightly. So we're going to lift the hip about an inch off the floor, so you're just contracting through the front of the right hip. You're not squeezing your bum to get it up there. You can put your hand on the front of your hip for feedback, just to feel what engagement is happening there, then relax. It can take a few tries to get this if you've never done this before. Imagine that I have my hand just on your knee, on the front of your knee, and you're trying to press forward into it with the knee. So your bum will just come up a little bit, and you'll feel a contraction into the low abs on your right side and the front of your right hip. Breathe, relax completely down. Let's do that a couple more times. Lift, little tiny lift of the hip, and then lower completely. We'll do that on the other side. Left hip comes up. It might feel different on this side. Again, try not to squeeze your bum. If you're squeezing your bum, you're coming up too high. Just relax and come down again and try again. Again, imagine you're pressing that lower part of your knee up against my hand, moving your hip up and away and release. It's a really tiny movement, so you might not really be able to see what I'm doing if you're looking at the video, but just feel into your body. Try to feel that activation through the front of the hip. And with each repetition, you might find that you get a little lower to the ground as you release with the hip. We're just releasing through the hip flexors and the low abs. So this can help reduce tension that can cause back tension as well, back pain. So now we're going to start to do some hip slides. So start to come into that flattened position with your back for a moment. And then we're going to release about halfway. Maintaining that halfway sort of flatten, you're going to start to slide your right hip up towards the right armpit. So you're cinching through the waist, and we're staying flat on the floor, and then slowly start to relax back to center. And then just come back into that half flattened position again. So it's just like a tiny little tailbone tuck. And then we'll start to send the left hip up towards the left armpit. So we're just going side to side as if you're wagging your tail. Or imagine if you're holding a basket, like a laundry basket or a box on your hip, you're kind of lifting that hip up to hike your hip up. Slowly relax, come to neutral. And then we'll go back and forth a few more times, right and left. Just investigating the movement, be curious, don't worry about getting it perfect. Just focus on isolating through the waist. As we go left to right, the rest of your torso might also move, your head might move. One more time each side, just keep breathing. Slowly releasing to center each time. Slowness is key here. So you might get little shakes, that's normal. Resting in neutral, and now we're going to put together those two movements in what's called hip circles. So it might feel like you're having trouble with it initially if you've never done this before. I like to visualize riding a bike, so it's the action that your hips take to move to ride a bike and pedal. So we're going to start with that hip raise, lifting your right hip off the floor, and then slide your left hip towards your armpit. So it's those two movements opposite each other. Then slowly relax back to center. Lift that left hip off the floor just a little. Slide the right hip towards the armpit. And then slowly relax back to center. Opposite right hip lifts up. Left hip slides towards armpit. So again, focusing on your hips. Just imagine your femur, the top of your leg bone, is making little circles inside your hip socket. So if it's easier to focus just on one side initially, you'll start to get the feeling of moving in a circular motion up and down with one side, and naturally your your opposite waist is going to actually hike up a bit as you do that. So just play around with it. Again, it doesn't have to be any kind of perfect. We're just moving and exploring through body. Try to stay relaxed and enjoy the sensation of moving gently and slowly as you breathe. So just take a few reps on your own, exploring the movement. Any kind of movement gently and slowly is going to be good, even if you're not doing this exactly the way I'm describing. As long as it doesn't hurt, you're good. Discomfort is okay, but not pain. All right. Finish up the last few rounds. And you can relax back to center, slide the feet out, extend the legs, and just notice how that feels. I'm getting a lot of rain right now on my skylight. You might also hear my birds chirping occasionally. They're actually just sitting on the banister behind me. And now let's just take a little bit of gentle side-to-side movement. Bring the feet back on the floor, a little wider than hip distance. And we're going to just do some windshield wipers, dropping knees left to right, slowly moving, and coming into a little bit of a twist at the bottom each time. Again, just finding that curiosity in the movement, where you feel it most, where you might want to linger a bit more, relaxing into it. Don't worry about doing it any particular way. And slowly come back to center. Extend the legs. And now you can prepare yourself to fully relax and let go. So you can come into your favorite restorative yoga pose if you like, or just get yourself settled into bed. So get a blanket, get some pillows. Or just stay where you are if you don't want to interrupt yourself. If you do have to get up and get anything, do it nice and slowly and lazily. And I will meet you back here with some sound.